So, queerness in classrooms. I don't necessarily identify as queer, but as a college student, I can definitely talk about classrooms and my classroom experiences. Um, but I mean, I've only been out as trans since November of 2012, I believe. So, about a year and 6 months or so. Um, so, less than half of my college career, I've had to deal with being out. Even when I only identified as lesbian, I was very quiet about it. And it wasn't because, oh, like, I'm trying to hide from military or scholarship funds, like, depending on what you're doing. It wasn't trying, I was trying to hide from that or whatever. It was more of, as a media professional, I didn't want to bring any extra attention to myself than I needed to be. It needed to be the right attention. Um, and I came from a very conservative family where I didn't know, you know, how things would be interpreted anyways. So I kind of carried that on into school, and I knew there was a lot of conservative people in general at my school. Just like there's a lot of liberal people, but I didn't know who I was going to be coming up against on a daily basis. So I really suppressed who I was. And on top of that, when I look at school, I look at school as a beginning of a career, and personal life and me being in the career, like they to me they don't mix. So I decided to leave that section out of the classroom. Basically, it was school for me was just strictly business. Basically, it took me a complete semester after I came out as trans to even incorporate that into the classroom, though. Um, I took a class called visual storytelling, and the very first day of visual storytelling, what you did was the idea is in order to tell anyone's story, you have to be able to tell your own. And first, you wrote down on a note card, your story. You had to fit your story on the front and back of a note card. And it's like a 5x7 note card, so it's not like those 3x5s or whatever. In the end of that class, you made each and every one of us get up and verbally tell our story. And mine was obviously a I'm trans. I've had this, my life's been like this, but I'm trans, and that was me coming out and interpreting that into the classroom. Obviously, a lot of people could start to tell because you know that semester, maybe about a month or so in, I started T, and people were able to tell that things were changing with me. And on top of that, a lot of these kids in my classes are kids that I had for 4 years, so they were obviously going to be able to tell that there were changes happening. I guess I go to a liberal enough school, or maybe it's the fact that I'm a media major, and most media majors, social aspect, are a little bit more liberal than maybe other different majors. That's just something I've kind of noticed, at least at my school, and you know, I guess maybe it's the creative types kind of set of mind. I've noticed a lot of creative types seem to be a little bit more accepting, but I mean that's not like under like a for sure rule. Is what I've noticed, and I've been more accept. I've really been accepted. Um, for the people that I've noticed, a lot of people that I've met in the past year don't know, and maybe it's because I passed really well, and I kind of skipped that. I skipped the huge section of, the whole going by Aiden and not passing. So I didn't have to really deal with, you know, verbally being outed or anything like that. Now, especially now when I've started taking huge steps at my school with trans issues and trans rights and non-discrimination in terms of gender identity, um, and gender expression. um, I've kind of have started outing myself, and to a certain extent, it's okay because I'm helping others, or at least that's what the idea is. Um, but I've never experienced discrimination in the classroom. Um, all of my professors have been really open when it comes to the issue, really nice about it, because I've never had anyone call me out on it. And I've been to all of my professors in one way or another and told them, hey, I go by Aiden, not this, my records are wrong, these are the pronouns that I go by, and I'm filling you in. Never have been told that, hey, you, I'm not going to do this for you, or anything like that. And maybe it's partly because the non-discrimination policy is at my school for gender identity and gender expression is now part of the policy, and that's just something happening this year. Um, so maybe I really do go to more of a liberal school. And thing is, that would be. I thought I would have a lot more negative experiences because I go to a school in Texas. For those of you that are wondering, I go to Texas State University in San Marcos. So we're basically smack in the middle between San Antonio and Austin, and I think a lot of we're closer to Austin. So I think a part of that also has to do with the liberalness of Austin and um, why a lot of it's rubbed off on Texas State. But there's a lot of positive changes going on in my school. I could not even begin to dream how hard it would have been for me to transition and ask for male pronouns and tell people what my preferred name is, and at a more conservative school in Texas or somewhere else in the deep south. Um, I almost ended up going to a university in Incarnate Word, and I would felt like especially as a private, you know, Christian Catholic, university, I definitely probably couldn't have been able to be myself there, or I would have, and I would have encountered way more issues. But queerness in the classroom, me on a personal level, I the kid that sits in the back of the room and no one notices. Um, I like to hide to a certain extent. Um, I don't like to be the first one to step foot. I don't like to make myself, like, what the right word is, stick out, because I feel like I do already stick out to a certain extent. That's just how I am. I like to kind of really, ninja style things and kind of just stay hidden, whatever. I let my media work speak for itself. I let the videos that I create, I let my teachers evaluate me, and I let them, because that's what's in the matter is my teachers, and those connections I make to my teachers. I let them evaluate me. My teachers know who I am, not because of the whole name thing, but because of the whole I can do my job. I know what I'm doing in terms of school and media work, and I seem to excel um, above the rest, and that's how I like to be noticed, and that's why even if I have any flamboyant tendencies about me, or and I know I do, and I know sometimes I really like to, when I'm not in the school environment, it really comes out really strong because I'm not in the school environment. But a lot of part of that is because coming out of here and coming out of school, I graduate in the next couple months. I'm gonna have to be able to apply for a job and get one. And there are a lot of conservative companies out there, and the fact that my name is Aiden, and the fact that I identify as male, and the fact that I am male, and but my birth record say something else, is going to cause me enough issues getting a job as it is. However, I have a kick-ass resume, and I have great referrals by my professors and by my bosses, and that's what's going to get me, a job, and that's what's going to hopefully carry me on through the rest of my career. So, I mean, I wish I had some, to a certain extent, I wish I had some stories about how people are being, complete and utter dicks about it. But, I guess it makes videos more interesting, maybe. I don't know. But the thing is, I'm honestly glad that I go to a school where that's not a problem. I go to a school if I wanted to let everyone know that I'm trans and that if I identified as queer, that I was queer or whatever. I know that I go to a school where if I get discriminated against it, I would be able to go to different offices in my school and report it, and action would be taken because my school does not. It's such a diverse campus; it doesn't take bullshit like that. Um, so, if you're looking for a school and you like that, then maybe Texas State's for you. Maybe it's not. Like I said, I can only really speak for my experiences as a media major and going through media classes. But I've only been out for less than 2 years at my school, and or in general, and at my school it's less, even less than that. And the people I've encountered have not had an issue with it, or they don't know. So yeah, but I guess the underlining tone is at Texas State. If you're at Texas State University, I'm not gonna say Texas State like the whole state, because let me tell you, the whole entire state is not queer friendly at all or trans friendly. Um, but I'm glad that it's an open environment where you can be that way. Um, and then again, also, if you're running into an issue and if it's early enough in the semester, you can always drop the class um, and find another teacher that's going to accept you or whatever. That's a good thing about college is so much easier versus high school, where if you're a teacher that's very rude towards you, unless depending on where you go to school at and whatnot, it's really hard to be able to get a teacher change for that. While in college, you can just drop the class on your own, pick up another class where a teacher which you heard be more accepting and so on. Um, and I've know that rate my professor is gonna help you with that to a certain extent. A lot of people like to comment on more than just the workload or whatever. They talk about the actual personality of the professor and how cool they are. So that should be another resource for everyone. Anyways, that's all I currently have on the whole classroom aspect. Um, if anything happens, I'll update everyone on my personal channel, but I really don't see anything negative update happening at my church, at my school, or within my teachers in terms of gender expression, gender identity, or being queer, gay, anything that falls in the acronym. I've never seen anyone discriminated against at my school because of it or heard anything. And trust me, I would have heard something because our community is very verbal at my school. So I will see each and every one of you next week.